Hi, hello, and welcome to our channel, Scratch Coding for Kids. This is Vida from Toronto, helping you guys to learn Scratch coding. Okay, today this is the 8th tutorial. We are going to learn about events blocks. So, to learn these things, you had to go through few other tutorials of mine. So please go through to my YouTube channel and learn about other basic things. So then only you will understand this tutorial. So there are 7 tutorials already uploaded there. So please go through those. Then it will be easy for you to understand this tutorial. Okay, so let's go into the chapter. So first one is what is event block in Scratch 3.0. Okay, so in Scratch, like in the create screen. Okay, let me go from the beginning. Okay, so it's easy for you guys to understand. So when you type scratch.mit.edu, you will get this screen. In this screen, you have to click on sign in and you can sign in. These things I already taught in the first tutorial. So if you don't know, please go through the first tutorial. Then you have to click on create to create a new project. I'm going to give a name, demo events. Okay, and I will save it. Okay. Okay, now my project is saved. Now I'll go one by one. So we had to go here. So in the create scratch screen, you'll have block palettes in the left side. In the block palette, you are having different categories of blocks. So today we are going to see is the events, which is in a light orange color. Okay, so we already learned about motions, looks, and sound. So please refer my previous tutorials for those chapters. Now we'll go to events. So events has few blocks. So we will learn one by one. First one is the most famous one and we always use this one for all the projects. When the green flag is clicked. So this is the green flag in your Scratch. So when this green flag is clicked, you are instructing the computer to do something. So basically, we have two major objects. One is the backdrop and other one is the sprite. So you can instruct the backdrop or a sprite to do something. So now I selected the sprite. So I'm going to I'm going to give the instruction to the sprite. So when click, I will say, let me go to the motion. Let me say, go to random position. You can give anything, any of this you can give. I'm just giving the go to random position. So every time I click on this green color flag, this sprite will go to random positions. Okay. Okay, so this is the instruction I gave to the sprite and that is working according to that. Every time you click that one. Next event is when you click any keyboard keys. So for an example, not only space, like here there are enough options. So you can select any of the key. So for an example, you can say any key, then you can press any of the key. So any key, or like I'll give something up arrow key, okay? And I'll say this sprite has to go to the random position, okay? Or you want to give some other instruction, let me give, it has to walk 10 steps, okay? Move 10 steps. Or to make it clear, I'll make it 50 steps, okay? We take the sprite to some other position. Okay, now when I click the app, now if you click on this green flag, nothing will happen because I didn't instruct it to that one, right? So that was previous one. Now I am instructing to whenever I click the up arrow key in our keyboard, the computer has the keyboard, right? In the keyboard, one of the keys up arrow. So whenever I click the press the up arrow key, this sprite has to move 50 steps. Okay, now I press, see it's moved. If you press every time, it will move. So that's how you can instruct. So that is the second event block. Now, third one. When the sprite is clicked, okay. So let me see. It's pretty straightforward because these are in English and it's very straightforward. So whenever this sprite, I click on this sprite with the mouse, it should move 50 steps. Okay, so let's click on the, let's click on the sprite. Every time I click, it moves 50 steps. So that is the third block. Other one is, this is, we have to do a little bit more coding. Okay, so this one says when the backdrop switch to backdrop 1. Okay, now we have only one backdrop. This is the backdrop button, and this the behind background is called backdrop. So when I click on this middle one will change to backdrops. So you click on it. Now you can add a number of backdrops. So I just give some surprise backdrops. Okay, so I selected 4 backdrops. So now we have 4 backdrops to play around. So I'll go back to the code here. Now I'm in the backdrop, but I'll go to the sprite. I'll click again the sprite, and I'll say when the backdrop switches to wetland. Okay, this one has to move 50 steps. I'll keep him here. Okay, and I will select the backdrop to, backdrop to the first backdrop, just a white color one. Okay, and I'm going to programming here in the backdrop. I'm going to say when I press the space key, it has to change, right? So in the looks, we can switch the backdrop. We already learned this. I hope you guys remember. So I switched the backdrop to wetland. Okay. So now again I'll change this to first one. And now in the code for the backdrop, it is wetland, and the sprite also it's wetland, right? We gave it. Okay. Now when I press the space key, this will move 50 steps. Okay. So let me press the space key, because the backdrop got changed to the wetland, and sprite moved 50 steps. Okay, I'll explain one more time. So we are learning the event when backdrop switches to some other backdrop. So if we want to use this one, we had to have more than one backdrop first of all. Okay, so to have more than one backdrop, what we had to do, we learned this in our first tutorial, second tutorial. So you have to click on this backdrop and go to the backdrops, and you have to add backdrops, whatever you needed, how many you needed, you had to add the backdrops. So right now I added 4 backdrops. Now I have more options. Now I go back to the code and writing to the sprite, when the backdrop switches to wetland, move 50 steps. Okay, so what will happen for this sprite is, whenever this backdrop come to this wetland picture, it will move 50 steps. So to make that, first of all, we have to have some other backdrops, right? So click on backdrop, and by default, I'll make it to the first backdrop. Now it makes sense. Otherwise, in the same backdrop again, it doesn't make sense. Okay. So, sorry, the sprite. When the backdrop switches to wetland, it has to move 50 steps. Now, how we can switch this backdrop? We have to give the instruction, right? It doesn't switch by itself. So we have to give the instruction to the backdrop. When the space key is pressed, switch the backdrop to wetland. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to press the space key. So the backdrop is going to change to wetland. So when the backdrop changed to wetland, this guy, the sprite, has to walk 50 steps. So I press space bar. See, the backdrop changed and he walked 50 steps. So if you couldn't see walking 50 steps, we can give something else. Like we'll say hello. Let me go to looks and say hello, so it will be more clear for you. Change the backdrop again to the first one. Code. So now I'm saying the space bar key is pressed, this one, and you have to say hello. Okay. So now I press the space bar. The backdrop will change and the sprite will say hello. See, he said hello. Okay. So that's how you have to do the instructions, right? So this is how you can create stories, like the background has to change at the same time the sprite has to do something. So in those situations, you will use these kind of instructions. the events blocks are very useful. We have to use a lot of event blocks to make stories and a good animation, whatever. Okay, now let me go to the next one. What is the next one? When backdrop switches to backdrop 1. Okay. Now, when loudness greater than 10. This is a very nice one, very good to interact with. Okay. So, what this does is like when you talk louder. Okay. First of all, you have to know what loudness we are having. So, we will study later. There is a blocks category called sensing. So, in this one, you have an option called loudness. So, if you check this checkbox, you will see when I'm talking, it goes up. And when I'm quiet, it goes down. So you know what loudness we are in. So I'm going to give when loudness goes greater than 10. I want to hide this sprite. So let me give the looks. We studied already, right? The looks one, we can hide or show. I'm in the backdrop, so I have to click on the sprite. So when I click on the sprite, the looks, there's a hide or show. Yeah, here's the hide. Okay, so I'm going to give the event when the loudness go greater than 10, the looks, I'm going to hide this sprite. Click on the hide. Okay, okay. So whenever I'm talking, see the loudness is going up, right? Okay, so see it's got hidden because loudness went up, right? So I had to show it again. Okay, so we will do two things and events when the loudness goes, we'll say greater than 100 because even we talk a little bit, then it 100, then hide it, okay? Otherwise, it always hide, like for small talks also. Okay, now I'm talking very quietly, so it's not going to hide it. But if I make a big sound which can reach the loudness to 100, then this sprite will get vanish. I mean, I'm going to hide it. Hello. No, my voice is not enough to go for the 100. So what I can do to make it 100? No, it doesn't go. The maximum I can make sound is the 30, right? How can I make a big sound? Wait, let me take the siren sound. In the sounds, I will take play sound. I'll get that. That was not enough. I'll increase the loudness. Nope, it's still not reaching the 100. So we will make it this as 30. So I talk very low voice because it already even the 30 is too low. So something like that you have to make the right volume. So according to that it will do the instruction. Okay, right. So now we know if the loudness is more than the, oh, I had to take this one out, otherwise always it will hide. Okay, so if you give this instruction according to that it will work with the sprite. Okay, good. Now we will go to the next one. Let me erase these things. Okay, next one is when I receive the message. Okay, for this you have to know one more thing. Before this, you have to know, sorry, when I receive message one. Okay, so before that, you have to know about the broadcast. Okay, So let me take another sprite. So now I'll change the backdrop because mm, it doesn't show the sprites clearly. Okay, we'll go to the white backdrop. Okay, and now let me go to the sprite, this guy, the meow. Okay, so here I'm going to program it when I receive a message, but I have to receive a message, right? So from where I'm going to receive the message? From this sprite 2. So this sprite 2 is going to say when I click the green button, green flag for a change. I don't want to say always the keyboard, right? So when I click on this green flag, it's going to say, it's going to broadcast. I'll create a new message. I'll create a new message saying, hello, learning Scratch is fun. Okay, so what will happen is this Scratch is going to broadcast this message, but this will happen internally. This broadcast, you don't see it. But when the broadcast means if I have 10 sprite here, all 10 sprite can hear that message. So usually when we program something only for that sprite, right? But broadcast is different. When one sprite says something, all the sprites can hear inside. It doesn't show anything outside or there won't be any sound. So what I am saying is when I click the green flag, this sprite has to say, hello, learning Scratch is fun. Now I'm going to say, okay, so this sprite is going to broadcast it, right? So now I'll go to the Scratch 1 and say, when I receive the message, hello, learning Scratch is fun, it has to say hello. I can, okay, it has to walk. It has to move 10 steps. Okay, so let's see. Now I'm going to click on the flag. See, it's moved 10 steps. Or let's say hello or something like that. Say hello for 2 seconds, okay? 3 seconds. Okay, so now when I click on the green flag, this cat will say hello for 3 seconds. See, because this lady is broadcasting the message to the cat and the cat then react according to that message. Okay, okay. So that's how you can do the broadcast and the uh, sorry. Let me go to the events. So in the events, we learned about the broadcast and when I receive the message. Okay, and other one is almost same. It's broadcast and wait. So there's a difference is it will broadcast and wait. Okay, that is only broadcast. This broadcast and wait. So that's all about the event blocks. So hope this is event blocks are very straightforward but very helpful. Very helpful. And this loudness you have to understand it's for the microphone, not with the sound volume. Okay, some people get confused with this sound volume increase, it will work. No, 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 not like that, not that loudness. This loudness is all about this microphone. Whatever you talk, it's a interaction between the user, not from the Scratch volume. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for the event blocks. Let us check the uh, topics we decided to learn. Yeah. So what is event block? In Scratch, we learned when green flag is clicked, we learned when keyboard key is pressed, the sprite clicked, when backdrop switches to, when loudness or timer, the timer also you can do the same thing. Okay, here, when you go to the loudness, you see there is another option, timer. So timer also you can give say less than 10 or something like that. So for to see the timer, the sensing one, you can see timer. So if I click on this timer, here this timer is going somewhere. So I will I can reset to reset timer to 0. Okay, then I will say when the timer goes more than 10, um, hide the sprite. Okay, hide this sprite. Hide this sprite. Okay, so I'm going to reset the time now. So it will start from 0. When it reaches 10, this sprite will hide. Okay, so I'll reset the time. Yes, when it reaches a 10, it got hidden. Okay, good. So that is the other part of that. That's why I gave here when loudness or timer is greater than a particular number. When I receive a message, then broadcast and wait. So when I receive a message, you have to know the broadcast. If you broadcast only, this block can be used, okay, when I receive a message. So these are the 9 topics we learned in the event blocks. Now your homework is log into Scratch, create a new project, use when green flag is clicked, that particular event block, and create a story with 2 backdrops and 2 sprites. Now the whatever you learn is more than enough to create a nice story. Okay, so at home you just imagine something. Okay, to create a story, first of all you have to have a storyboard, and first plan and design, then only start to write coding. Don't directly start to write coding. So for the storyboards, you can buy even the Dollarama or even Amazon, somewhere you can buy it. Even some software is available for the storyboards, but you can buy it in Amazon for $9. It will have 200 pages. Oh, pretty easy. Don't worry about those things. Just take a Microsoft Word and create a new screen. There you put some boxes like I'll go to the drawer and take a pen. I'll create some, I'll draw some boxes. So take each box for one scene. So when you're writing a story, there will be scenes, right? So put boxes and write it. Print this word page and write your story inside each box. For each screen, you can write inside the boxes. Print it and you can say whatever story you are going to write it here and make a storyboard. This is the storyboard. So you can create your own storyboard and then you write the coding. Okay, so with whatever learned so far, you can create a nice story. So try it today, give a try, and let me know in the comments how did you do it and how did you feel about your story. Okay, okay. Now we are done with the tutorial 8. Uh, Next tutorial 9, we will learn control blocks. This one, the orange color one. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you like, please subscribe the channel and see you till we will meet in the next tutorial, which is tutorial 9. Bye bye.